I'll say this, though. When you have Jalen Hurts on the team, you have Saquon Barkley, you got A.J. Brown, you got Devontae Smith on the offense, that's what it should look like.
That's what it should look like.
Converting on third downs. When you need a touchdown, let's give it to them. They playing man, they blitzing, we got one-on-one opportunities. If you don't play this, man, they be running the ball with Saquon Barkley. That's what the offense looks like. So when you talk about us being 10 straight game wins, win streak,
right,
that's cool, but when it looks like that, it's gonna be hard to beat.
Yeah.
This is the first time I can say this. I think that we are the top team in the league.
Dog, huh?
Top dog.
Top dog.
And that's the reason why. And you got that defense. It's gonna be hard to beat us, man.
Of course, it's Matt Rogers on the Honorable Mention podcast. We have Chris Franklin from NJ.com, beat reporter, has been covering the league for some years, great friend of the show. Since the last time the listeners heard from me, and apologies again that it's not coming through as crispy as usual, minor technical difficulties, but it's still going to be, like Chris and I talked about earlier, the ingredients and not so much the dressings.
That's good.
Last time the listeners heard from me, the Eagles were preparing to go to SoFi to take on the Rams. Since then, they've beaten the Rams, Ravens, Panthers, and Steelers by a combined score of 110 to 68 en route to completing a sweep of the AFC North. If you're the Eagles, out of the potential NFC field, who are you least comfortable with coming into the link, Chris?
That's a tough one because there's two teams I'm thinking of, but the one I'm thinking of is going to be the Green Bay Packers because I look at the way that their offense can operate, and they can spread you out, but then also add that power run game. So if they do go like 4 or 5 wide, I'm a little worried of Jordan Love doing his thing, moving around inside there, even with as well as his defense has played. That's the one guy I'm looking at like, you know what? And they're playing well late into the regular season, the time you want to see teams peak heading into the playoffs. They really can be. The Tampa Bay Buccaneers, or close second, is Baker, but they don't have Godwin. I mean, Mike Evans is still really there, but the fact they don't have Godwin along with Evans, I think that Eagles can adjust that cloud to roll stuff over to Evans side a little bit more, and they play a little bit better. But yeah, the Packers, they're a tough out, man. It's a tough out. Who you got?
Yeah, I was there in Brazil. To that point, I was there in Brazil. It was basically a Packers home game, and it was billed as an Eagles home game, but it was definitely a Packers home game. It was a really good game. I think I agree with your sentiment there. I still got to give it. If I got to say number one, I still got to go with at this moment. I got to go with the Lions. Because they still last week put up 40 points. I mean, the problem with the Lions is the defense. I think the Packers could put together a complete 4 quarters on both sides of the ball. I think the best recipe to beating this Eagles team is to getting into the 40s, and I already saw Jordan Love kind of carve up this Eagles defense while they were still figuring things out in terms of personnel. I'm not trying to say any names, but down in Brazil, different.
Sorry. Yeah, sorry. That's what it was like. Oh, yeah.
Just watch the game back, folks, and then So people know people, and I'm not trying to do that to folks, but different personnel. I think that this Eagles team. It's hard because I don't truly at this point, Chris, I don't truly fear anybody in the NFC, and that's kind of a problem in a way. You would still bill the Eagles as the prohibitive favorites at this moment in the NFC, right?
Yeah, I do, but it's almost like it's the good thing. I think it's nothing like say like 2002, I think it was when they were the number one. They were just number one seed, and then the Tampa Bay came in and just knocked them out. I think you have to respect because and the NFC is so tight in the fact that you legitimately have not only the Packers, the Lions. I know the Vikings deserve to be up there because they're tied with both teams, with the Lions and the Eagles. But there's something about Sam. I think the Brian Dable and the Vikings defense are number 2 seed, and that offense with Justin Jefferson they they do all right, but it's Sam Darnold in a pressure situation. I'm not
I don't
there yet.
trust it.
I'm not
I'm
there
not gonna trust it. I won't be there, Chris. They need to come into Philly and do the reverse thing where they're standing on the podium in Philadelphia. Then I'll believe it. I'm not buying it. I was way more afraid of that. Who was the quarterback at that time when Nick Foles and them
Is it
beat
Case
those
Keenum?
guys? Case Keenum.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean,
Ugh.
that team, they had a ferocious defense on that front. I mean, I think Case Keenum had a similar kind of year where it's like, oh, nobody thought I could be the guy, but look at me, play really good, not just game manager, but point guard for the offense. Still getting the ball down the field, not dinking and dunking, but kind of flash in the pan kind of thing going on. I can't get there. I can't get there with the Vikings, man.
Yeah, and they used like 3 quarterbacks that year, and it's funny how it's setting up. But it would be so funny if all of a sudden on that road you see them again, and they're like going to 3, and all of a sudden Daniel Jones is elevated or something like that for practice squad, and he has to do that. It'd be funny. I mean, it's a great thing, but yeah, this Minnesota. I can't buy Minnesota. I can only buy the Lions, the Packers, and the Buccaneers as really true outs because the game that's coming up. I know it's tough to beat a team 3 times in a season. I just don't see them making that jump yet. Next year, I think the Commanders are in the conversation. But yeah, I look around. The NFC is a lot better than I thought it would be. It's a lot better than the AFC this year. But I didn't. The Eagles are a tough one, but they're the top seed, but the best team remaining. But it's still a couple tough outs to go. It's a lot of character building matchups potentially going up if they make the Super Bowl. They will or have earned it along the way with these matchups.
In an interesting way, I think it kind of contradicts what I was saying a second ago. I can't buy Tampa Bay unless it's Philly, because to be honest, the Bucs at this moment, you can kind of say they got the Eagles' number or Jalen's number, however you want to say it, however you want to dice it. For the most part, I mean, they've been locking the Eagles up. And so, I mean, there have been circumstances and personnel things that led to that, but Tampa Bay is the one team I'd be like, oh, it's not I could envision the Eagles losing to Tampa Bay more so than the Vikings even, who have significantly more wins and a better resume. I just can't get there, but I can get there with the Bucs. It's interesting.
Yeah, it's true. And the only type of quarterback I think the Eagles would struggle with is somebody who doesn't get flustered, who is is mobile and can decipher defenses quickly and get it out. And the only people I can see doing that, Jordan Love, not even Jared Goff. Jared Goff's not that mobile. He's old enough to get around, but I don't see that. And Baker Mayfield. And I'm like, all right, Baker knows how to beat the Eagles. I don't know what it is. I mean, Todd Bowles does a great job against Chile. I don't know if it's
he does
simple, but
he absolutely has.
He does well. He does extremely well.
So, in order to set up and make sure that it's in Philly, they have to get the number 1 seed. It's within within distance. Do you think that they end up locking that up? Not this week, of course, because that's not possible, but moving forward.
I think so, because I think it ends in a weird way, because I think the 49ers of all teams will be the one that beat the Lions one more time. I don't know what it is, but I just got a feeling that's Shanahan's last stand. Not saying that he might get fired, but I know he's going to be feeling the heat a little bit. I don't think he's going to get fired, but it's that one thing to say, you know what? All that talk about, oh, he might get traded or whatever. No, to say like, no, I'm still a good coach. That's the team I think could be the one.
He's definitely still a good coach. I mean, I hope that's that. For as far as since that came up on the show, on my show, I want to make sure that that's crystal clear. Idea of, and I had this conversation / debate with a 49ers fan last year. Last year, if I said one person was better in the Super Bowl, it had to be Brock Purdy. I think everybody else just needed that little bump. And I think that this year is I would put it more so on Brock Purdy, and that they need to make a decision there. Because a superstar quarterback rises that tide. That team is too damn talented to be on the outside looking in. And for all their behavior and talk last year, I don't like them. So that's just facts. But their team is so damn talented, they should not be on the outside looking in. If Brock Purdy is worth the kind of money he's trying to talk about he wants.
Yeah, because if you look at this, there's so many wins. Like I put most of it on Purdy. Shanahan with his game management still to me is just, I'm just like,
oh, he's still suspect game management, but people get time to get better. Yeah,
yeah, and then getting rid of Steve Wilkes, to me that was just like, I thought he did a really good job, but they moved on from him and get the new, and he's never been the same. They haven't had that same bite, and
nope.
They lost Greenlaw and all that stuff. But yeah, it's not, they don't have that same bite, but it's something about, I don't know, it's something about that game. I'm getting that weird gut feeling, because the Eagles need them to win that
last stand. I like it.
I think that's the one that gets it. I don't see the Bears. I think Caleb Williams is going to be upset, and then by the time moves over, and then what have you, and then he goes down to that. So I look at that as being the one where I don't foresee the Bears doing anything with that.
Commanders have fallen back to the pack since the last time the Eagles played them. Is this the weekend that the Eagles? I believe that the Eagles are going to win the NFC East, even if it's not this weekend. Does it happen this weekend?
It happens this weekend, but it'll be uncomfortably close. Actually, you know what?
I believe
take it
so
back.
too.
I take it back a little bit. I don't think it's going to be close. I think it'll be close early, but then it opens up, because I would have said if Brian Robinson had not spoken today and said they were the better,
I didn't see what he said. Okay, that's new information for me. I'm working on old information to give the people, because a lot of listeners, if I didn't hear it, then they didn't hear. So tell the people, Chris.
I wish I could give the proper credit to the radio station, or if it was a press conference, what have you, but the running back, Brian Robinson, said, he started going into this, and it's tough to grow and all that stuff. And then he said, we are the better team. And I'm like,
ooh.
No, that's something you keep in-house, or that's something you keep on the screen when you're doing your team meetings about what you're expecting to do?
You'd be better off saying, I guarantee a win this Sunday.
Exactly.
You
At least
look
that one too.
saying we're the better team. I mean, what are we talking about? We play professional NFL football games, folks.
Yep. It was, when I heard, I was like, wait, what? No. And the fact that you said that, now you're setting yourself up to ask of course, his teammates going to say, yeah, we back him up. We believe that. Because you can't say, no, I don't think we're worse than the other team we're playing. No, nobody said it. That's the locker room stuff. Nick can go in tomorrow's meeting, and Nick Sirianni can go in tomorrow's meeting and goes,
and you said this on Wednesday? I still got time to sharpen up. Come on. You got to say this on Saturday or Sunday morning or something.
And I can see what happens tomorrow. So, Brian, we heard this. Well, my comments were misconstrued. I know every team is tough to beat. Nope, it's out there now. So, yeah, it's a very interesting thing that came out. So I think the Eagles will take that to heart a little bit. And I think that's what they use to galvanize.
18 for 50. Brian Robinson, 18 rushes for 51 yards.
It's setting himself up for that. And the way Jalen Carter, Jordan Davis, and Nolan Smith like to talk on the field, they're going to let him remind him that every time he gets hit or tackled for all, they're going to remind him every single time he did that. So good luck. I mean, for his sake, I hope he's right.
This football team played your football team earlier this year.
Yep, beat them cleanly. And so I don't know what he's saying. I mean, you're games behind. You're 3 games behind for the division lead. You had so much stuff going on. It took a Hail Mary to beat the Bears. I know it's not saying a lot because the Eagles struggle with the Panthers, but the Panthers are actually resurgent. The Bears have been floundering around for a while and on another head coach in the middle of the season. So, yeah, he
had what I mean in football rivalries. I mean, you got a wide lane for trash talk. That's everybody's going to be like, okay, he's excited. He's really into this week. He's getting himself up for it. He found a way to swerve out of the lane with we're the better team. I mean,
you hate to see it, folks.
You're better than us, so you're better than the Vikings. Not sure. You're better than the Lions? Not sure.
Yeah, that's
better than the Steelers. Steelers came in your house and already beat y'all.
Yeah, I don't get that. And the one thing I always look at, especially when you go special teams, that's just pretty pure athletes just trying to get them down to cover kicks on stuff. If you put the bottom half roster of the Eagles versus the bottom half roster of the Commanders, you got starters in there. Kelly could be started somewhere.
Yeah,
all those other guys who start. Commanders, you may have one star or two. You got legit like three guys there. Nah, you're not the better team. You're not the better roster. No.
Man, you better enjoy it. Well, you know, I don't we don't even have to go too far afield with that foolishness.
That was a shock. That was definitely a shock.
So outside of absolute nonsense, what are your 3 keys to victory for the Eagles on Sunday?
I think the main thing, I'll say a couple of things on that. The 3 I'm looking at: keep Jayden Daniels in the pocket and keep that puzzle changing in front of him. Vic did a good job of changing up his looks, and whether it's a spy, not to spy, cover 2 to cover 1, because that defense is tough to figure out. It's like, okay, I'm in the middle. Oh, I see one thing. By the time you're at your second step, and you're looking at your first progression, how are they going to cover 3 to look that quickly? And then, yeah, so continue to do that. I think that's going to be really key. The second one is the passing game, and we all heard a lot about it going after the Panthers game and how they corrected it against the Steelers. You have to maintain and continue that approach in bouncing. Not saying you have to throw it 32 times. If you throw it 25 times, just make sure you make the most of those opportunities that you have, because you can still take advantage of the field. If you don't have Dallas Cowboys, you can still take advantage of the middle of the field against this Commanders defense. In the digs, the slants with AJ Brown, Devontae Smith are almost unguardable, especially if you're running RPOs or play action off of it, because everybody's selling out to stop Saquon Barkley. So I think that's the other one. And the other one is I just want to see, the Commanders are doing very well in trying to strip the ball, punching that ball out. And we saw the Steelers do a really good job with this as well, too. Like TJ Watt getting that ball out, the fumble with Jalen Hurts. Protect the ball at all costs. Don't give them any hope. And snuff it all out early as well in this game. Get out to a big lead. Because I think if you get up by like 10, 13, and you get the ball back in the first, like they like to defer a lot if they win the toss. You're up by 10, and you get the possession, assuming possession the first half, and you go down and score. You take out all life, and then all the talk from Washington goes, we can have a chance, outside chance for the division, or we need to keep hold of the 7th seed right now because we're bad. So
it's over.
It's bad. Not that they're bad. Excuse me, not that they're bad, but the whole situation all of a sudden went from, oh yeah, we're in, to, oh no, are we in? Do we really have that spot? You don't know.
It's the 7 or nothing. I mean, they're not going to get the East crown. I mean, let's say I'm wrong, because I'm just going to throw a score out there, because we're going to get to some other games. Because the Brian Robinson, I was being very a good sport about the Commanders, and I until I heard that. But before this 34-27, I believe, win by the Eagles, even if it doesn't go that way, the Eagles play the Cowboys and the Giants. So the Eagles are going to lose out, because right now it's 9. They're 9-5, right? They're 9-5.
So, yeah.
Eagles are 12-2. So they need the Eagles to lose out. They win out. That's their path to the East Division crown.
Yeah, maybe hope for a tie and weird things to happen. I don't know. That's like, but to me, and this may sound bad because of what is going on now with the Commanders are in front of them. To me, the Cowboys are the toughest team in this final stretch. I think the Cowboys, I don't know why they're playing hard all of a sudden now when you had a good draft pick and now they decide they want to win late. I just don't know. That franchise is just puzzling to me. I don't know. Should have seen what you had at Trey Lance.
They're doing a great job. Go ahead and get that mid-draft pick. Don't get the good draft pick. Be out and get the bad draft pick.
It's so bad.
A+.
It's so, their biggest needs. Their biggest needs are not the top. Are not really deep this draft. So you think, well, you know what? let's see what we have while we have an opportunity. You can play it off. You can play it off. Let's see what we have an opportunity in terms of Trey Lance and the Cooper Rush. We know what Cooper Rush is. We trade for Trey Lance. We need to make a decision. They could have gotten away. Trey Lance stinks. He's green, and they would have gotten a better draft pick. We just say, oh, we use a valuation process. We all your take.
Right.
But nah, let's keep winning and winning and winning and winning and winning. So that's where they are. So yeah, I think even though that's happening, Cowboys are playing decent ball right now.
They are.
And I look at his Commanders, and with them is Terry McLaurin, who I think Jayden Daniels is going to try to force feed after not doing it in the first game. And then after that, there's nobody I really truly fear on that offense.
No.
A lot in the first game, a lot of stuff. The wide receivers got shut down. It was all the pass to tight ends and running backs. So that means he's going to get frustrated. He's going to throw that. So I look at the Cowboys in a way with CeeDee Lamb. That's the one I'm like, all right, maybe they give you a better challenge than the Commanders do, but even then, that's still kind of like apples and oranges.
They got a Week 18 in Jerry World. Now, people have been beating them up pretty good, so that's probably in the Commanders' favor. But they got to go to Jerry. I mean, like we're saying, the Cowboys are playing better, so they got to go there. They also have the Falcons coming to Landover next week, so y'all gonna go 3-0. The Eagles are going to go 0-3 against y'all, the Giants, and the Cowboys.
And the Giants are going to be by that time. They're going to say, "Oh, they scored on us in the first half or the first drive. Okay, we're done. They're going to Cowboy on three, ready break. That's their auto breaks. They're not going to do anything else with that. So no, it's not happening like that.
Eagles might still beat them with Pickett. Come on.
That's not go too. That's not go too far. That's
you don't think so?
If it was
you don't want to slam him.
I would say if it was McKee, I think they had a shot. Pickett, hand the ball off. I just don't. I'm sorry. I just don't trust this game. I saw enough in training camp, honestly. But yeah, but yeah, even then, I think he's good for the role he has right now, and even then, I think McKee will challenges him pretty well.
My 3 keys to victory are Jalen Hurts, 27 pass attempts. He's done that a few times this season. He's done that he's not just last week against Pittsburgh where he had 32. He did that against Washington last time. He had 28. I think the same kind of game flow needs to play out. I don't want them to come down and just load up the box. I think for the sake of the team, I think a lot of times, and Nick Sirianni has talked about this at times if you're reading between the lines, what he's saying is you try to coach good health at times. And so I think in that, getting this to the stretch run, and in ways trying to get Saquon this maybe the rushing title, maybe the MVPs out of reach, but you can keep your players healthy, keep the game flow, get those people out of the box, let Saquon still do what he needs to do. We need Brian Robinson under 3 touchdowns. I think he has the frame to be a red zone monster. I think the Eagles just have to keep him out of the red zone. Easier said than done, but I think that's if they keep him under 3, I think that's a signal that they won. And to your point about keeping Jayden in the pocket, I kind of want to ask you a question because one of my keys to victory is 4 sacks. Are you defending him like a Lamar, where we don't care if we don't sack you, we don't bring you to the ground, we need to keep you inside so that you don't break contain? Is that how you approach it?
Much rush and blitz from your defensive left, which is his right side, because no quarterback, if you're a right-hand quarterback, nobody really truly feels, you know what, let me go to the left, my offhand, roll him out to that side. So yeah, much rush him means just basically fill all the rush lanes, keep him inside the pocket, and try to make him be patient enough not to force a ball to somewhere that's like somebody's double covered, you can't read the defense. Or you just send the blitz, maybe send the Kobe Dean, maybe you send Cooper DeJean off the edge from the right side, so that way they have to shift, he has to roll to his left, and it's not as uncomfortable, he has to square up on the run and try to throw it, and then you just make sure that everybody has accounted for when you're doing your scramble defense like that. So yeah, I think that you put pressure off the edges and make sure you do that. They use Dean a couple times as a spy too, so that could be used a little bit as well too, or fake like he's spying, and then all of a sudden, I just thought about this. Thanks for bringing it up because you're talking about. I don't see Vic doesn't like to blitz a lot, but this seems like a good game where you can throw a delayed blitz or two to really do it. Let everybody define themselves. 1001, 1002, go up the A gap, and then force him to disclose where he's going to go.
Dean is so good at that. That
Mhm.
explosiveness. He's an explosive athlete. That acceleration. But yeah, it's good stuff.
He's got a knack. It's a learned knack.
It is. It is. So around the league, Houston at Kansas City on Saturday night. What are you thinking?
Looking at it, I think the Houston's disappointed me so much this year because I saw them as a team that could literally legit fight for that number 2 seed. Because I thought Buffalo might take a step back. They didn't have Diggs. Boy, was I wrong on that one. They look really good in terms of that. And Kansas City, they're not. It's one of those things. I don't know if they're saying, "Okay, wake me up when we get to the playoffs. We'll be ready by then." You have Hopkins. You have Worthy, who's really starting to be utilized a little bit more into this offense. You have some serious pieces. Why not let them use them a little bit more in the passing game to get it right and use Kelsey get that passing game right because I think he can do a lot more. And I just look at the way that I see CJ Stroud. And a lot of the conversations they're having down there right now are very similar to what people were having about Jalen Hurts in terms of the blitzes. He's struggling against them. He really it's one of those things like, and I'm away from my slow to say.
He said, like, I figured it out. Like,
yep.
Mm-hmm.
You ain't seen nothing yet, man. They'll sleep and design new ones just for you. So
come on, man.
Utilize, I think Slowick needs to adjust the offense a little bit more, give him another out so he can use his checkdowns. But don't force it. He has to be patient as well too. But overall, saying all that, Kansas City wins another one possession game, and everybody's wondering how do they keep doing it. This is the refs or what have you. Right, they may have some help along the way, but yeah, it's a medal to be able for them to be able to play those tough games. And yeah, I think they win this game. Something along the lines of like say 24-20.
I see. I'm with you all the way there. And Mahomes will play. I could just, I feel it's Wednesday, but he's playing.
I'm so happy he is. I cannot take the whole, well, let's see Carson. If Carson has a good game, the Eagles should have kept him and, bring him back if they can't get the pet. No. I don't want to see you. I will say that, like, in the box during that game when he came in, I've never seen so many people look to us like they have in this like by press box. They have all these TVs that we all watch, see like for the game, right? But usually for the games, they have red zone on or what have you. I've never seen so many people all of a sudden like pregame, like usually get your food, whatever. Everybody's just sitting there fixing it, like he's really in there. Okay, and then it's like for like a good 10, 15 minutes, everybody was just fixing.
He didn't play horribly either.
Right, he's a game manager. That's what he's good. And there's nothing wrong with that. But he's a good game manager for being thrown in and it went in a short period of time, not expecting to ever play because it's Patrick Mahomes. You're not expecting to play. So, hey.
Wow. Yeah.
Oh, thank goodness. Yeah. Thank goodness Mahomes is playing. Hope he plays.
Mahomes is playing for sure. Pittsburgh at Baltimore, which is going to be a hard-hitting game. There's some chins. Bring your chin strap. 3, 4, 5, 6 chin straps for that one on a Saturday night in December. Woo!
Cold. It's right off the harbor. It's going to be.
Steelers just lost. Lamar still trying to win the MVP. Ooh.
And Derrick Henry hasn't been going as much as he used to lately. And he wants to get right. So I think this is a perfect game for him to get to start running, but for them to try to feed it. Problem is the Steelers are really good against the run. They help Saquon Barkley. So I think they're going to make a concerted effort in that way because without George Pickens, they're a completely different offense. And to the point where I think
is he out again this week?
I don't know. I haven't heard. I don't know yet. I don't know. He's reevaluating, but if they need him on the field. If it's a decoy, they need him on the field.
I wasn't worried about any of their receiving threats. When I knew Pickens, I was like, if the Eagles can get to 23, 24 points, they're out of reach for the Steelers.
Yeah, the only thing, the weakness, the way you can beat the Ravens is it with the tight ends? Because I remember when the Eagles, when the Eagles were set to play them, you're looking at the stuff. Ravens have it. I think they get at the time. Like around 2 weeks ago, they go they had the most receptions allowed to tight ends. I think it was second at the time to receiving yards to tight ends. So that's why I was like, oh, Goddard's going to have a good day. So Freiermuth against that Steelers, Freiermuth against the Ravens, middle of the field. I like that matchup. They may have to use a lot of them, but they just don't have the horses, I think, right now. And I think this is a Ravens win. And how apropos would it be, all the pressure that's on him right now, if Justin Tucker kicks a game-winning field goal and they win 20-17?
Ooh, that would be so good. I totally see that. Chris, that happens. Are there real conversations about bringing Justin Fields back in?
I think I think he's going to go no matter what, because when you look at the quarterback market in free agency, coupled with what's available in the draft, it ain't that much. It's not a strong draft. There's not that many quarterbacks that are going to be available that are of note. Like Darnold, Russell Wilson, and Fields number 3 right now. And Rodgers is
so you're saying he's going to get paid elsewhere?
I think he's going to get paid wherever he goes. Like you'll get. I think somebody's going to offer him stupid money, to steal John Middleton's phrase. Somebody's going to offer him, I think, a lot of money. Whether that's New England as a bridge, like not New England, sorry, New York as a bridge. Well, either one of the New York teams as a bridge quarterback. Whether it's Las Vegas, have you? Somebody's going to offer him a lot of money, and even if it's a short-term deal where it's a 2-year. But it's going to look like 4 years, but it's really a 2-year contract with all the bonuses and the way it's set up. Somebody's going to offer him money because Russell's staying in Pittsburgh, I think, and Darnold's going somewhere else. So once those two are off the board, he's sitting there. He's in there in a good position.
That run game is dormant with Russell in there. And that's not the brand they want to play. And also, Russell's not about to win a shootout, so I fear the Steelers more with Justin Fields in there. And I just want to put that on the record.
See, he's got that. I think it's something about, I don't know about Fields in the passing game. He's gotten better, but it's something about Russ. Russ has seen a lot in terms of
Justin puts no touch on stuff. Everything. Yeah. He's like got that Carson Wentz thing where he's going to throw a screen pass through your chest. Like, bro, I'm right here.
We're throwing a slant. Okay, wind up. Poof.
Boom. Like, part of it was Aguilar couldn't catch anything, but damn, sometimes he was like
trying to kill me, man. Like, what's going on? I kind of like my fingers the way they're situated right now. So nah, don't do that to me.
He was loading up, and that's what I'm saying. Justin does that. He just doesn't put that touch on that deep, and I don't understand. He's got to get with somebody.
Tom House. He'll be a great guy to talk to. Tom House, and there's a guy, QB, where I forget it. It's Instagram. It's an Instagram guy I watch a lot, and it's a great endorsement because I can't remember it, but he has a great. They both do great work when it comes to mechanics, how to make it a catchable ball instead of that one too, and the way the physics of getting there. I think he can spend some time with one of those guys, and I think he'll be a lot better quarterback, and it'll help him out in the long run. But whoever's he's using right now, he needs to talk to somebody else. I'm sorry.
For sure.
Quincy Avery, too. Avery's a good one, too.
And maybe it might cost you a few bucks. You can't afford to not do it. You're talking about hundreds of millions of dollars. I mean, Justin Fields, the world is still his oyster. I mean, he's got 4 years on his, a wear on his tires and not really even that. So... Yeah. He can still make himself, like you said, stupid money.
And it's easy too. If you say, well, I went to Tom House, like he can sell this to his agent can sell this to the teams. And he's really working hard in the offseason. He wasn't just trying to do this for a contract. He went to the House, he went to Avery, he went to one of those quarterback coaches. He's really refined his game. To let you know, here's his workout, look at that, and then go from there. Like that could add another $5 million. What have you? You see, you're putting the work in to make sure it's good. He's a good guy off the field, in the locker room as well too. We all know his ability to use his legs. He has a strong arm. Just need to refine it and become the quarterback that works in the system, the right scheme, and it's there.
Yeah, absolutely, totally agree. Sunday night, there are a few duds on the schedule, just from my subjective opinion. So we're going to zoom past Saturday night all the way to Sunday night. Tampa Bay versus Dallas. I think it's going to be an interesting game. What do you think?
I think this is the one where Baker just has fun. Baker toys with him. As much as I talked about the Cowboys earlier on beforehand about how they can be tough against the Eagles and give them trouble, Baker's going to toy with them. I think they know what the Buccaneers know what's in front of them, because with the Falcons really making that change from Kirk Cousins to Michael Penix, to me that's a desperation move. And you need to be desperate this time because you're trying to make the playoffs. But
yes,
that's a truly desperation move. They can just look and go, look, they're shook. They're not going to have what have you. All we need to do is win 2 of the next 3 games, and we're in a good position to be in. So I think the Tampa Bay Buccaneers come in focus. They know what they have to do, and I think Baker has one of those games. It's prime time. We know what Baker likes to do in prime time, and everybody talks about how he wants to show off and do stuff like that. Whether it's the Tommy DeVito, hey, what's going on with this, or he wants to have that moment and able to do it in prime time. So I think he's going to have that type of day, and I can see it being against that Cowboys defense. 30-17, something along the lines, maybe even lower.
Oof.
I guess, yeah.
They got the Cowboys, Panthers, Saints left on slate.
The
Falcons are one behind. So if the Buccaneers, this is basically a clinching. I don't want to look past the Bucs because they've been playing good football. They just took these guys to overtime, but they'd be in really good position. It's not like clinching a playoff berth, but this is the game really that I would, if I was Tampa Bay, I would be worried about. I'm not really. Am I looking past their division rivals a little too much, in your opinion, Chris?
No, I think it's a time where I think I'm modifying Denny Green's quote. If you want to crown them, then crown their blue. Yeah, crown them the NFC South champions. Because even with Penix, he may look all world, what have you. I still think the Buccaneers have the best road. The Buccaneers will get it done. They've been there before. You're looking at them. Yeah, listen, I look at the West and looking at them. Yeah, I think they settled on the 4. I was thinking about, all right, maybe they get the 3. Nah, I think they settled on the 4. What have you? And yeah, that's what they're. Imagine Buccaneers, Vikings. The Vikings have a much better record, and I bet you it's going to come up. I bet you it's going to come up because he's always doing the same here. We need to look into possibly reseeding or giving the team with the better record the home game because look at the Vikings record. They deserve it. Look at the Buccaneers. It's going to come up. And it's going to make me mad every time you're like, they should have won their division. But
the 2023 Philadelphia Eagles are the case study as to why you leave their asses in the seed 5. Because you going to go give them a home game and maybe elongate their season for them to just get dusted when they see a real good team? No, leave them at 11-6. Leave them at the 5. No.
Reward the teams that did the work to get to win the division. That's all simple as that. The conversation will come up, especially if it's the Vikings and Buccaneers. It will. Or even if it's the Packers and whoever comes out the West. Yeah, it's going to come up again because the records are going to be so that NFC North has such a better record as those other 2 divisions. This is not fit. I'm waiting for somebody. I'm waiting for it to happen.
And if they're so inferior, go in their house and stomp them then. If they're so much a worse team, go in their house and put your feet up, get some chips.
Yes, Pastor. Keep talking, Pastor. Keep talking, Pastor.
So before I let the people go who've been nice enough to pay attention to our podcast, there's so many out here, a lot of Philadelphia sports fans. They hung around through the rest of the content. Give us a score prediction for in Landover this Sunday.
I think we've heard so much in the past couple of years about T-shirt and hat games. And there will be a box that will be there with T-shirts and hats. I don't know what the slogan is this year for them going, the East runs through us. I don't know if there's a slogan or what have you. But those boxes will be opened up, and they'll be worn by the Eagles players and coaches as well, too. And they'll move on quickly to 1 seed. I have the Eagles beating the Commanders by a score of 27-21.
27-21.
Yeah.
That's a good game.
And I think that touchdown comes in late. I think it's one of those dirty, like the one Lamar had against them late in the game when it was basically decided, but they all of a sudden do that. Yeah, I think it's
I see what you're saying. Yeah.
They'll still be mad.
Okay.
Thanks, Brian Robertson.
And on that note, yes, thank you, Brian Robinson. And we'll make sure to add you and send you a photo of the East Runs Through Us or whatever the slogan is. Thank you. And Chris, thank you so much for making time to be on. You got a busy schedule, and a lot of people are pulling at your time. So you always make time to come on and provide this content to the listeners and for me. So really appreciate it.
Hey, Lawrence, always great talking to you, man. Appreciate it, man.
Play from about the 12, and there is Vic, as you talked about, John, rolling and launching downfield for Deshaun Jackson, who accelerates.